Good afternoon, grinders. Here's your SimLabs analysis for Wednesday, March 19th, here at RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD, BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. Definitely tune in to Grinders Live later today, 5 p.m. Eastern on the channel. And then immediately following that is crunch time because we got a lot of games in the NBA tonight, boy. We got 11 games. We got people out, people in. We got teams that are fielding seemingly people off the street. It's getting to be late March. We're going to see a lot of creative players going forward. Hopefully you're geared up for baseball. We'll get some baseball SimLabs analysis coming up in a week or two. But, yeah, the injury report today is, who's in, who's out. Okay, so we have SGA is out. So obviously we're going to, Oklahoma City has a nearly 120-point team total against Philly, even with SGA out. And like everyone is cheap now because when a guy with that high usage and high price is out, that's what we're going to see. So you're probably playing a lot of OKC tonight. Okay, another team, we got the Wizards. We need to have a lookout on what the starting lineup is going to be. Jordan Poole is questionable, but everyone else is cheap on that team also. So Washington, we may get maybe a cheap center there. We got cheapness all over the place. So the common builds are going to be stars and scrubs. So if you wanted to play Luka and Jokic together, you could do it on this slate. I think. We may get even more news. I'm taking a look at the injury report here, which you could get on our situation room at RotoGrinders. This is free, so you could always check it out, and it'll always show you, the impact rating. You always want to sort of by 10. You don't care if Jabari Walker is out or whatever. It doesn't really matter that much. So we see here all the players that are out, all the players questionable, doubtful. Obviously, in our projections, we list questionable players as in. As far as the projections, doubtful players as out. And if certain things happen, it'll even show you a little tidbit on what you should do in that case. So like Halliburton, questionable. Nembhard and McConnell will run point. Mathurin likely starts. So it'll show you if Halliburton is out, this is how the projections should get updated based on that. We also have Siakam, questionable. So Toppin could start. Well, Walker also gets a bump. So we need to look out for Indiana today. We should get that news before lock. They have 122.5 point implied total against Dallas. That's a 7 p.m. Eastern game, so we should have that news. Let's see. Anything else that we need to look out for? We got obviously Jordan Poole got upgraded to questionable. He was listed doubtful. Now he's questionable. Remember that Washington situation is going to be pretty fluid, and that's a 9 p.m. Eastern game. So yeah, and the OKC game is at 8 o'clock. So you're probably going to be playing OKC players before the Washington players. But we have Giddey is questionable. We have, Jokic is questionable, but and Murray is questionable. Some of these Nuggets guys are probably going to play, but you never know. You never know. Late season NBA is whoa, pain in the ass, right? Like we have Hartenstein questionable, and I think he's at 6,400 for OKC. He's probably a good play if he's in. If he's out, it'll create even more value. Yeah. So yeah, we got Yabusele questionable. We got Andrew Wiggins questionable. We may be playing another Wiggins today instead. But yeah, so that's the injury report. I'm going to go over to SimLabs now, and obviously you could use SimLabs. Probably you should use it closer to lock. I'm just looking at it as of 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and see what shows up. And looking around, the theme to this, from what I could see, because in Lineup HQ it shows all the details of the fantasy point projection, the projected ownership, optimal rate, smash percentage, all that type of stuff. You can get that with a premium membership, but if you just want SimLabs by itself, you could just use SimLabs by itself. It'll kind of do all the work for you to balance projection, correlation, and leverage all together. An 11-game slate, I don't know if we care that much about correlation. Is one game is going to blow out and the other game doesn't. There's so many choices to choose from. I look at the theme is that I go through. I always like looking at optimal versus projected ownership because that's pretty much where the source of leverage comes from. What players are under-owned, what players are over-owned. and nothing stands out. So if you look here, like you see like 3 percentage points plus or minus isn't all that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, right? With 5 percentage points, 3, like nothing is just completely out of place. This Vucevic number is going to go down because we just lowered his projection to 17 minutes. So some of the Tristan Vucevic stuff may actually be not as dramatic as we currently have it. Like Hartenstein is 5 percentage points over, but I mean, like he's like 17% on optimal 11%, which for a 11 game slate like isn't that bad, right? In the teens for optimal percentage, that isn't that bad. And we go through small forward, right? I mean, no one is like just like stands out as like way overowned, way underowned. But the key is that we're gonna have a lot of chalky people on today's slate, and if you think of like I'm going to fade all the chalk, probably you shouldn't, because even guys like we see here, the guys that are in the 20-30% owned, 40% owned, some of them are actually a little bit under owned, right? Like we have like Aaron Wiggins at 26% projected owned, but optimal 32% of the time. So actually he's under owned. We have AJ Johnson play 3,500 for the Wizards, probably going to play point guard against the Jazz. So we have his ownership at nearly 50%. We have his optimal rate at nearly 55%. Okay. So he may be the chalkiest player on the entire slate, but if he comes in at 50% owned, he may actually be under owned. We also have like guys like all these OKC guys. Essentially, all these OKC guys as of now are either slightly under-owned or about as owned as they should be. So, like, if you think that's like, well, I'm not gonna. What happens if I just fade all of OKC? That's probably not a good thing to do, right? So just because a player is chalky doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad play. Now, if we had someone that was, going to be 40% owned, but they're only optimal like 8% of the time, then they're massively over-owned. Okay. So we have it, if they want to call it the good chalk, I think it's pretty much all good, right? Some may be a little bit over-owned, but it's like not to the point where a 40% owned guy is like twice as owned as they should be. Now, if like someone like AJ Johnson comes in at like 77% owned, then he'd be over-owned. But most likely we're playing AJ Johnson today. So let me take a look. I'm gonna run 150 lineups right here. And even hey, you could run 150 lineups on SimLabs, even if you're just playing 1, 2, 3 lineups. You can use SimLabs just as research tools, right? Even if you're playing 20, you can make multiple runs. You could lock players, exclude players. You could change some of the settings, and you can just save the lineups that you want to play, right? Because it's about lineups and not players. So maybe you want to play Jokic today. We'll find the lineups with Jokic in, and it's very easy to do that with SimLabs. So we see here, I'm going to go to exposures, right? We can see where we're going to get a lot of Tristan Vucevic here, even though he's fine to play. He's fine to play, but when it's updated, he's not going to be 50% optimal. Okay, because we have him projected right now for 17 minutes at 43% owned. He's probably that ownership is going to come down a bit. But still fine. He's 3,800, so you can still play him. So we're going to get a lot of Vucevic in SimLabs right now until SimLabs gets updated. But we have Aaron Wiggins here. We have Jalen Martin for the Wizards. Let me just take a look at him. Yeah, that projection is going to come down a little bit. Also, we have him at 14 minutes. It really depends what these Wizards. It really depends on like Jordan Poole. It depends on some of these other Wizards guys on whether or not they sit, who starts, and stuff like that. So use late swap for the Wizard stuff. And if it's a 9 p.m. game, so if we don't have news on the Wizards guys, they may be good late swap situations, because if Poole does indeed sit, all these guys are going to be pretty damn good plays. The OKC ones are going to be no matter what. We have a lot of Michael Bridges. In our runs, we have him as underowned today for the Knicks against the Spurs. The Knicks have a pretty good team total of 118.25, and also the shooting guard position is a little bit weak today in general, right? Because we got like Case and Wallace, I guess you could play, even though he's questionable. Then you have like pay up options like Devin Booker. Yeah, well, I mean, those aren't screaming values anyway. Yeah, like the shooting guard, small forward position is a little bit weak, and because Bridges fits into both a guard and a forward spot, he's going to be overrepresented, meaning he's going to be much more likely to be optimal, but also probably used a lot more. So we have Michael Bridges as underowned. Kate Cunningham, let's take a look at him. Detroit has a 111 implied team total. We're going to have Cunningham at about 20% owned. He's about 18% to be optimal, so I think he's fine. Chet Holmgren, obviously, we got OKC guys. Keldon Johnson, he's perfectly fine. Obviously, he fits into that small forward spot, so he's going to be a little bit overrepresented. We're going to get a lot of Luka. Like if you're going to play Tristan Vucevic, you're probably going to play Luka with him because you're going to be able to, right? How much value is on the slate? The game total is 132, 133. Lakers are a 2-point dog at home against the Nuggets, but it's still a healthy team total. The game should be close. So Luke is there. Booker also 120.25 for the Suns. So that's a pretty high total game. I could see playing Devin Booker today. We got Desmond Bain also with the Grizzlies having a 120.5 point implied total. I think that is fine. Like no one is just outwardly like way overowned or way underowned. But maybe maybe we should prioritize someone like a Michael Bridges, especially in that mid range. A lot of people are going to be building these lineups that have like Luka and Booker, and then like 4K players or something like that. Which probably from a median perspective is probably the optimal route to go. But to get a little bit different, maybe use some of these like mid-rangey type of play, 5 to 7K guys, and hope they score 40 plus or something. And maybe you don't pay up for like a Luka in those lineups. So let's take out Vucevic. I'll bring this back because his number is he's gonna fill in every lineup. I mean, we had him projected earlier in the day for much higher. Our projections team has taken him down, and SimLabs will get updated soon to reflect that information. But I think in general, if we keep on running these with the way it is, we're just going to get a lot of Vucevic. So let's take out Vucevic and put in 20 lineups and see what some of these lineups look like without Vucevic. Right, we'll probably get a little bit less Luka in these lineups, and you see how quick these are. I mean, like we run 20 lineups in like 3 seconds. Right, here we go. Okay, we still get Luka, right? I mean, look at this lineup. We get Miles McBride in there, I guess, right? So you get Luka, Bridges, Wiggins, Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Jalen Martin, Keldon Johnson, Miles McBride. Maybe we should take out Jalen Martin also, because that's going to get updated as well. So let's take both of them out. Those would be like the pivots. If we get news on the Wizards that Poole is sitting, and that we get guys that. Vucevic getting more time, Martin getting more time, stuff like that. You could swap out that later, but I'm going to take that out for now. But I mean, you can just get so much OKC. It's ridiculous. I mean, everyone's underpriced. I mean, like literally everyone. I mean, Aaron Wiggins, 29 minutes, 5,100. We got Jalen Williams, 4,600, 27 minutes. Chet Holmgren, 7,600, 33 minutes. And then we got Hartenstein, we got Case and Wallace, we got everyone. Even Kenrich, I guess you could play. I mean, he's viable, I would think. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, you could play Jared Butler. I think he's fine at 6,000. I don't necessarily think his optimal rate is like ridiculous. Let's see. Ownership about 14%, optimal rate about 12. Okay, he's doable. No one seems really the theme right now is that no one seems to be that over or under owned in general. So when that's the case, when people are kind of playing them optimally, I just want to let other people make mistakes, right? So let's see, we're not even getting how much AJ Johnson are we getting? Is that coming through? Let's see, AJ Johnson because AJ Johnson's numbers are probably going to come down also because of all of this. Let's see. We go through over here. Let's lock in AJ Johnson. Or is he out? Did he get ruled out or something like that? Is he, because he's still showing in our projections for 24 minutes. Well, let me just make sure. Maybe he's out also. Okay. Let's just not play any Wizards as of now. Let's play no Wizards in SimLabs. This is why you do it closer to lock. This is the key. I'm here in the afternoon just to show you what's going on as of now. But it's 11 game slate on a Wednesday. You should be doing the exact process that I'm showing right here, like more like 6:30 or so Eastern. That's why you tune into Grinders Live, you tune into Crunch Time, and then you go to SimLabs. Okay, so we're getting a lot of OKC, right? Four guys here, three guys here, 4, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3. I mean, like how do you not play OKC? Yeah, how do you, it's hard to think that you're not playing at least one OKC player. Because even if like Case and Wallace is out, let's take out Case and Wallace and let's take out Hartenstein, right? In case they don't even play, and obviously that'll bump up other people. Let's see what those lineups look like. Right, we're gonna have tons of Wiggins, Williams, Holmgren, probably Michael Bridges, Luka, something like that. I mean, like Halliburton is in these lineups, and Halliburton may not even play. Right, so we get Halliburton, Franz Wagner, a 4% owned Franz Wagner, and a 7.6 owned OG Anunoby is in this lineup. Karl Anthony Towns is in this lineup. Yeah, these are like Isaiah Joe's in here. He's viable. Anyone on OK, if they have an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey, they are viable today. But let's prioritize playing Michael Bridges today. We play Michael Bridges. I mean, we don't get that many. I mean, a lot of these lineups are going to show up a little bit poorly because we have Vucevic still projected very highly. So I'm gonna use like 50 as a baseline for these lineups now. Because of that, you're going to see some red here. Yeah, unless you play Vucevic and he actually plays more than 17 minutes, and all these Washington guys are out. But this is kind of the little bit of the bugbear about don't build lineups in SimLabs at 1:00 in the afternoon and then just like forget the rest. Then just like close it out and you go along with your business because you're giving up a lot of edge because you're essentially playing based on information at 1 p.m. and not information at 7 p.m. So let me up this results range a bit, and let's focus on Bridges. What lineups that have Luka in it? Luka, Bridges, and we're probably gonna get a bunch of cheap OKC players in it for like the stars and scrubs types of lineups. So what do they kind of look like? Right? Okay. I mean, you're gonna have to get. You're gonna have to get different enough. A lot of late, like I like this. This one's pretty good. I mean, you're essentially stacking, kind of like the Knicks, the Lakers, and OKC. I guess Luka, Goodwin, Bridges, Wiggins, Holmgren, Cameron Payne, and Miles McBride. I don't necessarily see. The thing is that you plug in Cameron Payne at 3,100 and use this as like a placeholder for like the Washington guys, right? Because you have like McBride and Payne here. And we hope to get news before 8:00 on that game. And then you switch this up, and this could be like AJ Johnson. It could be Vucevic or any of the Washington guys, Martin, right? Because they're all going to be cheap anyway. So this is definitely a late swap slate. But yeah, if we don't play, if we just X out Luka, I'm assuming we're going to get Booker lineups, I guess. Because really, like to build in the middle, maybe we get like Booker Bridges types lineups. Let's see what they look like. We play Booker and Bridges, and we try to keep it where we're not playing like anyone, like we're not playing Luka. I mean, Luka's 12.5. I mean, he's way more expensive than Booker. But here we get Booker, Bane, Andrew Wiggins, who's questionable, Kenrich Williams, Gobert, Bridges, Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams. Like this, I don't mind this lineup. Obviously, we don't know if Andrew Wiggins may not play, right? Here's one with Ryan Dunn at 3,600. I think he's fine. You play a cheaper Justin Edwards on the 76ers. I guess that's okay at 2.6% owned. Halliburton, we're not even sure if it's going to be in, but I don't think this isn't that bad. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm not necessarily sure that I'd play Bridges and Anunoby together. But if the Sims say it's okay, I guess it's okay with that. It's okay with me. Yeah, as you see here, I'm trying to like exclude like the players where SimLabs, like we have the timestamp here as 11:25 a.m. Our projections get updated like in near real time, but SimLabs gets updated during the day, like once an hour. But once it gets closer to lock, between 5 and 7 and stuff, it gets updated like every 10 minutes. Right. So I'm looking as of like the initial projections. And let me just tell you, the Vucevic's projection was very high, very high. His optimal rate was absurd. He's still playable. He's still playable. Not as much, not as high of a smash. You got to play him in all your lineups type of value that he kind of was earlier in the day. And of course, you could save all of these lineups. You could save any lineups you want in the save lineup section. You could sync with lineup HQ. You could download them and cut and paste them into your CSV file, upload them to DraftKings, and you could make as many runs as you want. I mean, you're not limited here. You could build 150 lineups. You could build multiple sets of 20. Right, you could look at lineups that have Bridges and Booker. Look at lineups that don't have Bridges and Booker. Look at lineups that have Luka and Aaron Wiggins. Look at lineups that have Chet Holmgren but no Jared Butler, and then sort through and pick the ones that you want to play based on our 10,000 plus simulations that we run. Okay. Excuse me right there. Okay. So yeah, so you get that all part of our combo light package, $29.99 a month. You also get access to Plate IQ, Court IQ, Weather Edge, all of our research tools, and our premium content like Expert Survey, Consensus Value Rankings, all of our write-ups. And that's for just the four major sports: NBA, MLB, NFL, and PGA. MLB will be back. I'll be back doing my once April NBA trying to do SimLabs at 1 p.m. is like a lost cause. So we'll be talking more about MLB once opening day in the States comes around. I know they played a game in Japan already. So hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Sorry that it's a chaotic day. So there's not much to tell you. I think the overarching theme of today is that there are going to be some players that are going to be very owned, and they're probably not owned enough. They're probably not going to be owned enough. So I wouldn't be building these like highly contrarian lineups. These cheap OKC guys, these potentially cheap Washington guys, you're probably playing them. You're probably. Do you have to play all of them? No, but I mean you're not Xing OKC out today. So yeah, so the chalk is probably good today. So play it. And go get SimLabs. Click on that link in the description, rotogrinders.com/premium. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door and tune into Grinders Live later on RotoGrinders.